Hey there, I thought I'd just jump on and have a bit of a chat, see how you're all going. These times that we're in are interesting, to say the least, and it's on everybody's top of everyone's conversation. How long is this going to last? What are we all going to do? How are we going to get through? And I just wanted to share some things that my mentor, Bob Proctor, who I have the utmost respect for. This man has been through many things in his lifetime. He's 86 this year. And I saw him the other day and he's just so calm and so, just calm and confident in this time. And here's some of his thoughts that I wanted to talk through with you. Good to see you here, Mike. Nice to have you join me. Bob says, even though times may seem uncertain right now, don't forget that the whole universe operates by law. It's always true whether things appear to be good or bad. And when you stop and think about it, we might be all in quarantine or lockdown, but the sun comes up every morning, goes down every night. The tide is still operating. The seasons are still changing. So there is an orderly universe out there with more apparent control than we are aware of every day. He says, just like these laws are operating out there, they're also at work in our life, in your life, in my life. So you can count on whatever you're thinking about most of the time will eventually show up in your life. And I want you to focus on that today. What we think about does show up in our life, what we think about most of the time. So think right now through this time, what is your predominant thought? He said, what images are you holding on the screen of your mind as we move through this time? Now, when it first all started taking place, I know fear was my first thought. It's like, far out, what is going on? And in fact, the first few weeks of it, probably the fear increased because I was thinking, this is more serious than I first thought. Bob went on to say, the images that you hold on the screen of your mind, they do turn into things in your life, and especially when mixed with emotion. If you've done any work with me at all, you'll understand that. And so our work during this time is to really start understanding, how does our mind work to give us the results we're seeing in our life? That is not just for when things are great and let's make hay while the sun shines. What about when we're quarantined? What about when we're in lockdown? Our mind is still working. Universal law is still working. Law of attraction is still working. So what are you putting in that system and what will you be getting out? Bob said, I want to suggest that you use this time to jump in and really study universal law. Can't think of a better thing to do with your spare time. Such as the laws of cause and effect, the law of vibration, the law of polarity. Because like gravity, these laws are always working in your life, whether or not you acknowledge them. And I love that analogy. I mean, the law of gravity is always working. We can either work with it or we can go against it. I watch the little ones as they start to learn to walk. And they have a few face plants, but eventually they start to gather that, okay, this is how I walk. This is how, I can't just crawl off the edge of the lounge and not hit the ground. So they start to understand the law's not going to change for you or me or the 3-year-old. The law is the law. Same for everyone, everywhere, every time. So it's our job, our task, our challenge to get to understand the laws and how they work so that we can work with them. That's what the Wright brothers did when they eventually got a plane off the ground. They understood the laws, and the great thing about the laws is they work the same every time. There's no altering. So they're as sure as. Therefore, once we understand that, we can work with them with precision to get the result we want. And I get really excited when I think about this. And when you start living this way, because it becomes really fun. So what images are you holding on the screen of your mind? You're in control of you, as in you're in control of what you think. You might not be in control of what's going on out there and worldwide, clearly, because if we were, we'd be perhaps doing something different. But what we are in control of is our own mind. So don't let this be an unsettling time. The only reason it will be unsettling is if we let the circumstance start to be in us, start to control us. Yes, there'll be some people that die from this, just like people die from lots of things throughout the year, every year. There are deaths. That's life. People die. People are born during this time. The world's still turning. So don't let it be an unsettling time where you retreat from life. Don't put your life on hold just because everything else is on hold. Make it a period of tremendous growth, productivity, and rich expectation. Really start thinking, what is it that you're thinking about? Commit to learning about more of the universal laws and to bring them into your life, or rather bring your life into harmony with them so that you can get the results you're wanting. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. In the Great Depression, I'll never forget hearing that's where Revlon was born. So Revlon, the bright lipstick and nail polish, was created by a man in the Great Depression. Now, if you'd run that by me in the Great Depression, I would have said, dude, people aren't thinking about lipstick and nail polish right now. But what do we know? It's still here with us. So when you start to really learn more about the universal laws, bring your life into harmony with them, then you start to get the results that you want. Everything in your life starts to change. And I love, he finishes off this piece of writing with, the universal laws are always working and there's no guesswork with them. Like I said, they're going to be the same and get the same result. No matter who you are, gravity works, okay? And you have to understand how to work in harmony with that. Now, because of that, there's always a precise and orderly way to get what it is that you're wanting. So your homework for today is to really sit down in the quiet and start thinking, what do I want? Not what can I see, what do I think is going to happen here? If that's not what you want, then shelve that and start thinking about what you want, because that's where everything starts. Okay, a bit of food for thought. Get your mind out of the news for a little minute and start thinking about what you want. And if you're interested in learning more about the universal laws, I'm your lady. I'll put a link below this because I'm actually looking to work with 6 people one-on-one just for 4 months, and we're going to talk every 10 days and get some real learning on board and really talk about what you're wanting in your life. Because do you know what? It's not as hard as you might think. It's really just understanding what you've got under the hood and the world that we live in. And when you get in harmony with it, like Bob says, you can actually have what you're wanting, your heart's desire, and that's an important thing. Okay, what is it that's inside you that you really feel you want? And we can start exploring that and understanding how you can be stepping into that even in this time. So I'd look forward to hearing from you. I'll put my link below if you'd like to have a chat or even just introduce yourself. Have a look at the calendar and book a spot and we'll have a chat. All right, I'll talk with you soon.